It's time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watch, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
And I'm Neil. Last night, we watched episode 8 of The Amazing Race, season 24. The show aired on Sunday, April 20th, 2014. Here's what we thought about it. So before we dig too deep into this week's episode, I want to tell you a little something that I read last week.
Am I going to like it or am I not going to like it?
Well, here's the thing. It was the elimination interview for Jessica and John.
Okay.
While I was reading it, I noticed something which could mean absolutely nothing or it could mean absolutely something.
Okay.
In going back to discussions that we've had about the two of them, in the transcript, the final score for implicit or explicit references to their impending matrimony was John 2, Jessica 0.
Oh, really?
You can make of it what you will. As I said, it could be absolutely nothing, or she could have been listening. I don't know.
Okay, so he mentioned it twice and she mentioned it 0 times?
Exactly.
And he was like excited about it when he mentioned it?
Oh, definitely. Looking forward, anticipatory kind of comments.
And to that she made no comment.
No response. No suggestion.
I think this is very telling.
We're still in Rome.
Yes, thank goodness.
They departed the Eternal City and made their way to Sativa di Bagnoregio.
Yes.
The love affair between Caroline and Jennifer and Dave and Connor continues.
It does continue.
Caroline and Jennifer left the pit stop second and got 2 maps from the hotel concierge to the next clue. One for them and one for Dave and Connor.
Which was very cool.
Oh, my goodness. Dave can't speak highly enough about these ladies.
I know.
Is he shopping for a daughter-in-law?
I think she's a little old for a daughter-in-law.
Hey, you know, the trappings of an older woman can do nothing but be a benefit for a young buck such as Connor. So, on the way to the next clue, somebody took a wrong turn, somebody failed to signal, whatever it was, but the two of them got separated.
Yes.
Dave and Connor just went along their merry way. Caroline and Jennifer got lost, as to be expected. At the Sativa, we run into the detour.
Yes.
Apparently, donkeys are a big part of the Sativa's day-to-day activity.
They are.
So they had a choice between Donkey Run and Donkey Build. In Donkey Run, teams got to participate in a donkey race. And they had this course laid out. It was a rather small course in which they had to complete 3 laps around what looked to be like an oval course. But in the center of the oval was, I guess, the local band. And so if the team completed 3 laps before the band stopped playing, then they got their clue.
Yes.
Which was kind of cute.
It was kind of cute and kind of crazy.
It was more crazy than cute.
Well, not only did you have to choose your donkey wisely,
yes,
but then once you chose him, if he didn't work out, you needed to make that decision to change to another donkey.
Exactly.
Some were going the other direction. Some people were having trouble staying on. You know, there was no saddle or anything, so it's completely bareback, which I don't know how all of them didn't fall off.
I'm telling you, by the time we got to the Globetrotters, I was really wondering if the donkey was going to break. Because Big Easy's a big boy.
He is.
In Donkey Build, the teams had to assemble a wooden donkey for which they had no model, they had no example to go by. Once they assembled it, they had to load it up with wood and then delivered the wood to Geppetto and Pinocchio in order to get their next clue.
Yeah. Now, how do you assemble something, number 1, without directions, but number 2, without even knowing what it's supposed to look like when it's finished?
They knew that it was supposed to look like a donkey.
Yeah, but still.
You put together all the pieces that kind of look like the associated donkey parts and just hope for the best.
Yeah, it just looked pretty complex to me.
As you noticed, we've been going a little bit and I have neglected to mention Brendan and Rachel.
Oh, let's not go there because there's just so much to say.
Oh, they were the first to arrive at the detour. They basically voiced their preference for build when they arrived, but found themselves passing the run on their way there. So Brendan basically said, let's do the donkey run. And Brendan decided to share a little bit of trivia. I did not know that donkeys were faster after they just pooped.
All I know is this whole time I was thinking to myself, how the heck can Brendan be with Rachel because she is so annoying?
Oh.
But this episode told me exactly what I needed to know, which was Brendan is just as irritating, if not more irritating than Rachel, and that's why they're so perfect for each other.
Let's turn back the clock about 3 years.
Okay.
Brendan and Rachel were on Big Brother.
See, I don't remember that.
I don't watch it. I was never a Big Brother fan. But I did find out through references in comments on the message boards for the CBS website. And apparently during their time on Big Brother, there was a bit of a scandal.
Really?
Yes, involving a woman named Molly.
Okay.
And there was Skype, and there was Brendan, and Brendan had neglected to bring his pants.
Oy vey.
There was a rather lengthy Twitter exchange between Molly and Rachel regarding
the lack of pants.
The lack of pants. Yeah, it apparently got posted.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this was an Anthony Weiner moment, sort of.
Well, see, the thing is, Weiner had the sense to not show his face.
Yes.
His face and his wiener were never in the same shot.
Yes.
Brendan ain't that smart.
Oh, so he did the full frontal.
Oh, yeah. He went full Monty.
Yeah. The rule is, if you're gonna take a naughty picture, don't put your head in it.
And really, how do you know these rules, by the way? Dave and Connor arrived at the detour second. They chose run. And so they were just getting ready to get on their donkeys when Brendan and Rachel finished their run. Actually, when Dave and Connor arrived, they called out to either Brendan and or Rachel, you know, where do you get the equipment? And neither of them answered.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shade being thrown.
There's some tension growing, and it's been growing for the last few episodes.
Yes.
And it's becoming way more obvious between those particular two teams.
Yes. And so Brendan and Rachel actually finished their detour first, and their clue told them that they had to travel to the Hostaria del Ponte. I presume that it was like walking distance. It's part of the Sativa. At this location, there was a double U-turn. So two teams had the opportunity to turn back to other teams in order to put some distance between them.
Yes.
Rachel had wanted to U-turn Jet and Cord to force them to use their express pass because they hadn't used it. Brendan wanted to U-turn Dave and Connor because they were right behind him.
Yes.
I would have U-turned the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I would figure that regardless of whether or not they chose to use the express pass going in or coming back, if you force the Cowboys to use the express pass, they're still going to have to do that detour anyway.
Yeah.
So the choice becomes, do you make one team do it twice and risk the possibility that the Cowboys will not do anything at all? Or do you force the Cowboys to do at least one, knowing that every other team has to do one of the detours?
And I just think because they're so good at everything, and they've consistently been good at everything, it would have been good to U-turn them anyway.
Absolutely. Brendan basically compelled Rachel to agree to U-turn Dave and Connor.
And you say compel, I say...
bully?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
He was kind of a chump in this episode.
You're being nice. He was a dick. Jet and Cord came to the detour knowing that they were going to use their express pass.
Yeah.
It was kind of a given. So they came in, went straight to Geppetto, basically said, we want to use our express pass, give us the clue. So they got the clue. Right around that time, Dave and Connor had finished their donkey run finally.
And by the way, Dave and Connor on the donkeys, poor Dave, that had to have been the biggest wedgie ever.
They both finished right around the same time, so now they're both scampering and looking for the Hostaria del Ponte, where the W-turn is located. The two of them arrive pretty much at the same time. Dave and Connor just edge out Jet and Cord to be able to choose if they're going to U-turn anybody. Which at this point, Dave and Connor absolutely have to U-turn somebody, because they're going to get left back because they've been U-turned. So now they have the opportunity to do something else. Dave and Connor ended up U-turning Leo and Jamal.
But then they ended up helping them.
Yes. Exactly, because Dave and Connor are nice guys. But the thing is, Jet and Cord are standing right there. The sensible thing to do would have been to U-turn the Cowboys so that they could at least do one of the detours.
Yeah, of course.
But they don't U-turn them, they U-turn the Afghanimals, who haven't even gotten there yet.
Because they were just having way too much fun with the donkeys.
Way too much fun. This goes back to my problem with Brendan's strategy of U-turning Dave and Connor, because he's basically left it open for the Cowboys to go straight through the sativa without having to do a single task.
I think everybody pretty much expected that they would choose the Cowboys.
Boo-boo to Dave for playing the age card again.
Okay, Dave didn't just play the age card, he framed the age card. He matted the age card.
He laminated it.
He mounted
surrounded it in titanium.
With spotlighting.
He went Flavor Flav on it and just got it mounted in a clock that he wore around his neck. And just said, look, I'm a 60-year-old man.
It was bad.
Dave, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
And when he was forcing Connor to do the challenge too, and then just the whole mocking Brendan, I just saw this side of Dave that I was like, wow, you are a little bitter.
So Brendan and Rachel and Jet and Cord made their way to the next clue. So back at the detour, here's Dave and Connor basically offering to work together with Leo and Jamal, and basically told them, hey, this is what we had to do, which they didn't have to do, by the way, I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. Let's work together and try and get through this and blah, 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 and so forth and so on. Okay.
Yes, and I thought that was really cool.
That was cool. That was acceptable, because we've pretty much decided who the real enemies are.
Yes, we have.
As far as the sides have been drawn, we now know who our enemy is, and he is Brendan and Rachel.
Yes.
Leo and Jamal and Dave and Connor went to donkey build.
Yes.
In the meantime, Caroline and Jennifer had come, and they were going to do donkey build. Dave, like, totally dropped his donkey and went over to Caroline and says, oh my God, we lost. I'm so sorry. I just did. Man, he really wants him some country girl.
Did you say he dropped his donkey? I'm going to use that in the future.
Leo and Jamal finished their donkey first, but forgot to put the basket on. And so they were like totally lost and just didn't know which end was up. So they decided, okay, we're going to go and do the donkey run and give that a go. Let us know what the deal is when we get back.
And I'm kind of glad they made that decision, because the Afghanimals on the donkeys was really the highlight of the show for me.
Oh, yeah.
It was so hilarious. I was laughing so hard.
If I wanted to be a team, I would want to be them. So now Dave and Connor and Caroline and Jennifer are back at donkey build, and they finish the donkey. They go to the guy. The guy says, you're not finished. So Dave reads the clue again, and finally Connor figures out, oh, we got to put the basket on the donkey.
Yes.
Once he does that, then everything's cool. Then, of course, Caroline and Jennifer put the basket on the donkey, and they're done. But Dave and Connor, they basically tell the girls, wait for us, we'll come back and get your donkey. Because they have all the time in the world, apparently.
In Dave's mind, they do.
They show Caroline and Jennifer rolling the donkey the last 6 feet to Geppetto, and they get their clue.
These girls are working it. That's all I can say.
They're literally drafting off of everybody. While Dave and Connor are carrying the donkeys, then Leo and Jamal see them, and Dave yells to Leo and Jamal, who are just finishing up the race, you gotta put the basket on.
Well, everybody was helping everybody, which in a way I thought was really cool, but from the race perspective,
it kind of screws a number of teams.
Yes.
One of them being the Globetrotters.
Yes.
Now, when they finally arrived, they first attempted the donkey run. And I really thought Big Easy was going to break that donkey.
The crowd was going crazy because they've probably never seen anything like it.
Oh, yeah.
A guy that big on the donkey, like, slowly falling off.
Oh, yeah. It was good. So Big Easy's donkey was not cooperating.
No, not at all.
Flight Time offered to switch.
Yes.
And so they switched donkeys. The problem was not, Big Easy's Big Easy. It was just the fact that that donkey he hadn't pooped yet, apparently.
Yes.
They decided, okay, we're done with this. We're going to go over and build the donkey.
Yes.
So they build the donkey. They finish the donkey, and they're stuck because, once again, they run into the same problem that Dave and Connor ran into, trying to figure out, we're all done, what do we do?
This was painful.
Once again, Flight Time, read the damn clue.
I know.
It worked for Dave and Connor, it can work for you too. Before we leave the Sativa, I want to give props to Leo and Jamal when they were going down the bridge to get back to the car.
This was so
and
awesome.
Leo said, hey, let's just take a second and just look.
Let's take a moment. We're on the amazing race.
It don't get much better than that.
Right.
Props to Leo and Jamal for just taking a real quick time out to just appreciate. Very cool.
I loved it. And so Afghanimal style.
We head to the roadblock, which is located at La Badia de Orvieto, which is a chapel, and one team member had to hand copy a page from an ancient manuscript because a lot of these works were done prior to movable type. So they had to get in the whole calligraphy thing, and they had to reproduce this page and do the gold leafing by hand.
This task was brutal.
Yes.
And the amount of concentration.
Oh my God. Brendan whispering the affirmations to Rachel from the doorway made me want to hurl.
Right?
Brendan explaining his reasonings for you turning Dave and Connor made me want to hurl.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And he was like, babe, you gotta just trust me. And it's gotta be about the strategy, and you can't have your emotions in it.
Yeah. Oh, and he's sitting up there in the chapel, and he said, well, we're in a place of worship, so they can't get mad at me. What an idiot.
He's more irritating than Rachel.
So then the Cowboys arrived, which should have made Brendan wet himself. But,
yes, it should have.
Yeah, but he's not focused on the Cowboys because he's focused on Dave and Connor. He is more afraid of Dave and Connor than he is of the Cowboys.
Yes.
Why he's going there, I have no idea.
Well, and there was some major tension between them and Branchell at this particular task. It was outwardly, his bitterness was showing, just his sarcasm. It was just snarky.
Yeah.
Off the charts.
Because I know Brendan, I'm okay with it. So Rachel got this, okay? Just ask her. She got this because she's an artist and she does the calligraphy. Okay, so when she handed in her manuscript for review, and it basically got the big F from the monk.
This is too fat. This is too slim.
Note to Rachel, just because you like it, don't mean everybody else gonna like it.
But it wasn't even just that she wasn't happy. She had major attitude about it.
She needs to start crying again.
No, it's fine. No, don't have her start crying again, please.
But see, I don't like this Rachel. This Rachel is getting on my nerves.
But we finally got through an episode where she didn't cry, and I kind of liked it.
I know, but I want her to cry again. Because obviously she has all of this pent-up emotion that she's bottling up, and it's coming out the wrong way.
Yes.
Damp in a tissue or something.
I hear you.
And note to Brendan, when she says yes sir, when all she's called you for the entire race is Brendan, she's really saying, shut the hell up.
Yeah, back off.
So then the Cowboys were there for a while, and Brendan and Rachel are on their second attempt. Now everybody starts coming in.
Yes, but I gotta say, the cowboys putting their hats on the monks, and the monks with the hats on was hilarious.
That was good. That was very good.
Ingenious.
Dave and Connor got their third. Connor didn't want to do it. Dave didn't want to do it. Connor still didn't want to do it. Dave really didn't want to do it. But Dave should have done it because Connor sewed the shirt.
Well, the whole way that he forced him to do it.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
Connor was like, really? I didn't like that at all, because it was like, no, you're gonna do it.
It was all transference. He was just transferring all that hate and all that anger and all that stuff that he couldn't express at Brendan. I'm gonna give it to my son because he understands, and I'll apologize and everything will be all right, but I really want to sock Brendan in his jawbone.
Yes, but I didn't like the fact that he took it out on Connor.
I know. I didn't either, but I understand. And here, Caroline and Jennifer in the back, just drafting. They're just being pulled along, Oh, we're just two little blonde girls. We just don't know what's going on. What country are we in?
And when she sidled up to the monk and said, how is it? Is it really good? I just thought, oh my gosh. And it worked on a monk.
They need to go. But the thing is, Brendan and Rachel need to go before Caroline and Jennifer go.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Props to Leo for thanking Mom again.
Yes.
Because she made him copy random books when he was growing up. So they were able to finish. Once again, Dave and Connor just really, really didn't feel comfortable at all.
No.
About, what was going on and doing this stuff. But props to Leo and Jamal, finished the roadblock. But then Leo said, no, we're going to wait for Connor. And he actually offered Connor help.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool.
Even though they U-turned him, they helped him through that U-turn.
So there are just more and more reasons why we are loving the Afghanimals.
Yes.
They just keep mounting.
I would like to see the Afghanimals win.
Yeah, I gotta say, I would have to agree with you. From the standpoint of just them being good sports, playing well, playing the game well.
And working through adversity.
And helping other people.
Yes.
I just think all of those traits are really good traits. And so in my book, that deserves to be rewarded.
Yes, I agree.
So we agree on who we want to win?
We usually do.
Neil!
Yeah, we do.
Look at us. I love it.
Oh, wow. Very good. The Globetrotters actually arrived. I think Dave and Connor and Leo and Jamal were still there by the time they arrived.
Yes. It was dark.
Flight Time did it. And man, Big Easy filled that door.
He did.
He absolutely filled that doorway.
He had to hunch down.
So he had to scrunch down. He had to suck in. He was very close to having to go through sideways.
Yes.
It's a small door.
Well, yes.
I'm gonna give him that. It's a small door. So once they finished at the chapel, they traveled to the Piazza del Duomo. They had to ride the funicular up the hill, and the pit stop was in front of a very ornate building.
Yes.
Once again, I gotta go to Italy.
I'm telling you, it's beautiful there. You've got everything.
I gotta go to Italy.
It's not just the history and the art and all of that, but there's beautiful countryside, and I just love the Italian way of life. It's just, you embrace every moment, you savor every moment, you eat good food, you drink good wine, you laugh, you hang out with friends. I just love it.
There you go. That'll be our first tour stop.
We need to go.
Once we get to that point. All right, so Brendan and Rachel arrived first. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Jet and Cord were second. On the way there, Dave and Connor, I guess, turned left when they were supposed to turn right.
Yeah, and then had to double back.
And then they had to double back. Fortunately, Caroline and Jennifer had also, done something hinky and were able to turn them around.
Yes.
They were somewhat useful.
Yes, somewhat. We underscore somewhat.
Yeah. Leo and Jamal finished third, and we had to say goodbye to the Globetrotters.
We did, and I was so sorry to see them go.
I was sorry to see them go too. As long as Brendan and Rachel are in the race, I'm sorry to see everybody go.
But But with the Globetrotters, I'm gonna totally miss their sense of humor.
Exactly. So Leo and Jamal will have to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Brendan and Rachel have pissed off a lot of teams.
I know. I'm sorry. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I really want them to go.
I've wanted them to go for weeks, but not until they eat something nasty.
And you know, it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna be like second. It's gonna be down to the final two, and we're gonna be just biting our nails going, are they gonna go?
Stop. No. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I reject that totally. Now there are 5 teams left.
Yeah.
3 of the 5 remaining teams don't like you. I mean, they pretty much committed to make sure that you get out.
Yeah.
The 5th team is just focused on them. And I mean, the Cowboys, they're looking at the finish line. But the other 3 teams, they are gunning for Brendan and Rachel.
They are. I gotta say, I think it's about to get pretty ugly. As far as I'm concerned, Brendan and Rachel just need another green tuk-tuk dilemma.
Yeah, and that'll be it. So next week, I don't know where, but, you know, there will be some flying.
Yes.
To some far-off land.
Yes.
I hope for Brendan and Rachel's sake that they don't miss a plane. That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at @did_you_watch_it. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.